This video is going to be a bit different from my usual videos because I want to show you an example of a business whose Facebook ads went from performing really well to completely dying. And I'm going to explain what happened, why it happened, and what you can do as a Facebook advertiser to make sure that this doesn't happen to you as well. So the business I'm going to talk about in this video actually became a client of ours. They joined my mentorship program and they did so because they were really struggling. They had gone from ad campaigns, Facebook and Instagram ads that were performing really well, consistently able to generate sales at a decent return on ad spend number. And over time, they just watched their results slowly get worse and worse and worse to the point where they were unprofitable and actually quite unprofitable by the time they got involved with us and sort of asked for our help. Now, previously, they'd been spending the majority of their ad spend selling just the one product from their product range. It was one of their best sellers, it sold well elsewhere, and it was a product that was good at acquiring new customers in particular. It was relatively low barrier to entry. They were able to sell that, acquire a lot of customers at a decent return on ad spend number, build a customer base, all the sorts of things I talk about that can really help you over the long run as a Facebook and Instagram advertiser and a business that wants to grow a customer base using this ad platform. Now, I can't say the name of this business specifically or even the industry, unfortunately. Obviously, I try and share as much of what we learn based on what we do with clients as possible, but understandably, clients want to keep things private and anonymous, and I totally get that. But I can still tell you what happened and you can take away the valuable lesson for this and apply it to your space. So this, I can't say the name of the business or the industry, but this business was, or it still is, a known entity within this industry. So not one of the biggest players, but a brand that if you regularly buy products within this space or you work within this space, you would have heard about. They had some brand power. And their ads that had previously been doing reasonably well, they weren't amazing, they weren't terrible either, they were just sort of average, I would say, but they were able to sort of punch above their weight to some extent because of this brand power. And just a quick aside to the sort of the real lesson I want to get through in this video is that having a known name within your space and having that brand power is such a cheat code, such an advantage. And it's one of the reasons why business gets so much easier the longer you do it. Running Facebook and Instagram ads gets so much easier the longer you do it because you start to become an established name, a recognizable entity, and that helps everything when it comes to customer acquisition, reactivating customers, all sorts. Just something aside if you are struggling or looking at competitors thinking, why can they run ads like that and get great results and I really struggle? It may well be that they have brand power if you're much newer and much less established. So they're spending most of their money on this one product that was selling well, and this is sort of their main focus for customer acquisition. They had some retargeting focused campaigns alongside those that would then sell other products within their range, high ticket stuff typically. And these are the campaigns that really sort of dropped off over time and were starting to well, they had gotten to the point where they were very unprofitable. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, this is simply an ad fatigue issue, right? They ran the same ads for too long, people became bored of them, they needed to produce new ones, and that's why results sort of steadily got worse and worse and dropped off. And it wasn't. They had regularly produced new ads, they knew that that was a potential issue, like they had solved for that problem, but still seeing this consistent drop off in results. And we sort of had to, because that was the original thought we'd had, right? As soon as a business tells us that story, it's the first thing I think is, oh, you've got ad fatigue, you need new ads. That wasn't the case here. They had created new ads and whilst the new ads hadn't performed as well as the old ones, it wasn't like you can directly compare and see results. It was like just a general trend line of everything was worse. Not, if you're introducing new ads to overcome ad fatigue, you would expect some to perform worse, but some to perform on par, some potentially to perform better if you produce enough than the previous ones. That would be what we typically see. Just kind of everything was down over time. Now, what we found in really digging into this is that this one product that was really good at acquiring customers grabbed a lot of attention, got lots of engagement always when advertised. The reviews for it weren't amazing. So when you looked at what people said about the actual product, it wasn't just tons of 5-star glowing reviews, right? A lot of people would say, oh, a bit disappointing. They weren't terrible. They weren't sort of saying this doesn't work at all for what it is that is intended. It was just like, this is okay. There are better alternatives. People are saying this thing's fine. There are better alternatives. Maybe not great for the price. Not as good as I was hoping for. A bit disappointing. And some businesses can get away with that if they're basically a monopoly within their marketplace. No one else sells the same or a very similar product or service, but that was not the case for this business. They had direct competitors selling very similar things. And because they had direct competitors selling very similar things that had better reviews, better feedback, that really hurt this business's ability to sell this product, to acquire new customers over time. And it's a really good reminder, I think, to all marketers, all Facebook advertisers, that your business and your ad campaigns do not operate in a vacuum. It's not like the only source of information for these people will be your ad. They'll neatly click on it, come straight through to your website, purchase, won't question it. Now, some people might do that, of course, but a good chunk of people will look at reviews. They'll look at other sources of information to try and verify, is this thing that I'm thinking of buying any good? Are there better alternatives? I think that's actually something that business owners often struggle with. They think, well, my thing is good. And that's not really the bar. The bar is it better than your competitors? Is it better than the similar versions being sold? Because if someone can just go through to look at the reviews and see that such and such has a rating that's significantly higher than another one for a similar price, or they look the same in terms of what people think about them, but one's cheaper, they're going to go with that option. At least a lot of people are. And actually we've got interesting data on Gen Z, Gen Z are far more likely to do that before making a purchase than previous generations. So things like that are becoming more important. It's also impacting tracking because that generation is also far less likely to click on an ad and go through and buy. They're likely to bounce out, go and look at reviews and then like remember the name and search for the company and then go through that way. That's what people will do. Like we take this as an agency very, very seriously. So we have someone within our team where it's part of their role to ask for reviews, to repeatedly contact clients both in our mentorship program and our done for you services and say, you've got great results, would you mind leaving us a review? Like we work quite hard at that, and because of that we've got a 4.6 out of 5 rating on Trustpilot, which is unheard of for a marketing agency. Like that's way higher than you would typically see for a marketing agency. So we know how key this is for our own business, and I think a lot of business owners want reviews, they think their thing is good, but if you actually look at what people are saying about their products and services, maybe it's not quite as good as they would like it to be, and that can be a big deal. We'll get back to the video in a second. Before we do, I just want to quickly let you know about my mentorship program. Now with my mentorship program, me and my team mentor people daily to help them get the best possible Facebook ad results. We've actually had some amazing results recently from some of our mentees. We'll pop them up on screen right now. In fact, 82% of people that join my mentorship program see a notable improvement in their Facebook ads return on ad spend within just 30 days of joining. And that's a stat that I'm really proud of. There is a link in the video description below. You can click on that, come through to a page on our website and book in a free, no obligation call with one of my team members to find out more about it and see if it would be a really good fit for you. Hopefully we get a chance to work together. So it became quite clear that the average reviews that this business was receiving for this product that they were really pushing and advertising aggressively and were hurting this business's ability to sell and to scale and sell profitably, and were impacting their cost per conversion. Now, interestingly, with this business, most of those sort of negative to average reviews were about this one product. The rest of their product range had significantly better feedback, which was fantastic. One of the ways to think about this as a framework, I think, for marketers and advertisers is that everyone always wants word of mouth, right? Everyone always wants that effect. They're thinking, I'm going to sell stuff, people are going to love it, they're going to tell friends and family, then I'll sell more. But what's very rarely considered is that of course can work in reverse, and it can work in reverse digitally with reviews and things like that, and people seeing feedback and what people say about the products and services. It can also work person to person. So if you've had an experience with a product or service and it's been really poor, well, you are probably actually more likely to tell friends, family, write about it online than if you've had experience with something that's really good or decently good, let's say, because that negative experience is going to be that much more impactful, and you might have a sense of like wanting to let people know about this company that offers this thing that's not very good, and you want to like make sure other people don't fall into that same trap and things along those lines. Like we've often had that experience. Well, of course, that can have a really big impact on your ability to advertise and the profitability of campaigns over time if you've got negative word of mouth working against you. Because if you're thinking about buying someone and you ask someone, a process that we all do a lot of the time, oh, I'm thinking about, buying such and such, this friend, this family member I know will know, they're really into that, they know all about that sort of thing, I'll ask them quickly. And I think this is going to become more impactful with people using AI, like ChatGPT, for example, where people are going to do more and more as part of their purchasing behavior. They're going to ask, like they see an ad on Meta and they'll say, oh, I saw an ad for this product. Is it any good? The answer that's going to be provided is going to be based on feedback, reviews, and what people say online. Like that's what's going to be in there. So I think it's going to become even more important. The word of mouth effect is more impactful as well if you're either operating within like quite a small niche or if you're operating locally. Like think about how quickly a bad restaurant will die. Probably in the town, city you live, there are restaurants that pop up and then 6 months, 12 months later, they've disappeared. And you can probably think of examples where you've thought, oh, I've seen such and such is new. And then you might ask someone who lives in the same town, city, etc. Oh, there's a new such and such restaurant. I was thinking about giving them a go and they go, oh, don't, it's not very good. I wouldn't go in there. And that's just, you won't go then, most likely, unless you don't respect the person's opinion or you don't think that their tastes align with yours. You would go, oh, okay, won't bother trying that then. Or even that works to another degree as well, because not only might you have that direct interaction, but I've had it many times where a new restaurant will open and you'll say, oh, I saw that place open, I think about going there. And then the person I'm talking to will say, not that they've been and it wasn't very good, but someone they know has been and it's not very good. Oh no, I wouldn't go there. My friend went last week and he said it wasn't very good. So not only have they put off all of their friends, but then those people are then putting off their friends or their work colleagues or their family members because they're relaying that story as well. You can see how this can have a huge impact, that sort of negative word of mouth compounding. Can absolutely work in the opposite way. You go to a restaurant, fantastic food, you want to tell friends and family, we should go there, it was brilliant, it was great, I'm going to take the family, I'm going to go again, it's going to become a regular of mine. It works all the way. So if your results have dropped off over time and you're sort of scratching your head and you're working hard, you're introducing new ads, don't discount this as a potential issue. And I have spoken to literally thousands of Facebook and Instagram advertisers. I've been a known entity, a name in this space for coming on for a decade, creating content, etc. I don't think anyone's ever told me that the reason why their ad campaigns are now struggling when they were performing well, which I've seen hundreds of times, maybe even thousands of times, is because their stuff's not quite as good as they would like it to be and their reviews aren't quite as good as they'd like. Like no one ever says that. Every business owner, every marketer assumes that their thing is brilliant and that might not be the case. Let's go back to the restaurant example. For a new restaurant, let's say, to succeed, does their food need to be good or does it need to be better than the alternatives that sell the same type of food? So let's say you've opened a new Thai restaurant. Well, if you really want to succeed in that city or town, it probably has to be better than the other Thai restaurants in that space. Otherwise, they're just going to go there. Or it's cheaper or there's some other differentiating factor. It could still be good, but if yours is a 7 out of 10 and there's a 9 out of 10 down the road that sells the same type of food, you're in trouble. And the same applies across the board, all different industries, like that same logic applies, right? It doesn't need to be bad. It's a case of, does the competition provide something that people are better? So a lot of businesses are obsessed with customer acquisition, not customer satisfaction. They are very much connected and interlinked. And I think marketers need to be more appreciative of that. Seth Godin is someone that I'm a big fan of as a marketer, and he has absolutely, you consume his material, the books that he's written over time, and you can see there's this shift over time where he talks less and less about like marketing, traditional marketing tactics, and more about the quality of the product and the deliverable being part of marketing, because that's what then will allow future customer acquisition, customer retention, and the things that actually make a business valuable and successful over the long run. So I'm going to give you a tactic for fixing this quickly in a second, but first I want to let you know about Hyros. Hyros is the best tracking and attribution software for meta ads. It's the software all the big players in this industry use, including myself. I use it to track results for my own ads as well as all my organic results as well. So if someone books a call for our done for you services, for example, I can see exactly where that person came from with a lot of accuracy. That allows me to make better decisions for my marketing and my business. Hyros has been able to track that from our ad spend in this campaign, we've generated £96,000, but £58,000 of that was not reported by Meta. So if I was just looking at my data within my Meta ad account, I might come to the conclusion that this campaign is doing okay, but in reality, this campaign is doing a lot better. Now, this is a relatively extreme example because of the nature of our business. So most of our products, services have recurring billing elements. Meta might be able to see what we make initially from our ad spend on that initial transaction, but not those subsequent payments. And that's why it shows the importance here of being able to accurately see what did we actually get from our ad spend in order to be able to make better decisions and optimize correctly. So if you want to improve the performance of your ad campaigns without having to touch your ads, go ahead and sign up to Hyros. There is a link in the video description. So let's say that what you offer is good, but not the best, and your reviews are decent, but not exceptional. What do you do in that circumstance? Here's the way I would go about fixing that. I think you can find all the answers to what you should do from your customers. Get their feedback, ask for feedback, ask for reviews, send out surveys, then take the time to look at them. If someone leaves a really bad review for your product or service, what do they say? What is the issue there? What has caused them to leave the bad review? Oh, this thing took way too long to arrive. Right, you've got to sort your delivery out then. Or it was far too complicated. I thought it would be easy. Okay, you need easier instructions on how to sign up for the service or how to install the product or whatever it is. Like, a lot of the answers are going to be provided there if you take the time to work that out. You can also do it in the opposite, right? So when people do leave really good reviews, what do they say? Can you do more of that? Can you emphasize that even more? Maybe you can't fix a negative thing, but you can make it a non-issue by providing more of the positive thing. I think it's really important for advertisers to fix this if they think this is potentially an issue. And you can always improve on your deliverable, right? So don't think this is either a binary, it's good, it's bad. It's like, this is a scale and you can always look to improve it. And do that before you look to ramp up ad spend. So many businesses, they want to grow aggressively, they're impatient, they want to just spend as much as possible. But if you haven't fixed the thing that you're selling first, you haven't made that as good as it can possibly be, you can end up selling to more people, which creates more negative word of mouth, more bad reviews, and that hurts you over the long run, as opposed to the opposite. And you will find that your advertising money spent will go that much further if everyone who buys really likes it, or most people who buy really like it, they come back, they buy more, they tell other people. That compounding effect is absolutely massive. So coming back to this example of what we had to do, basically got to the point where we advised this business, you can't sell this product anymore. Like, you can't aggressively advertise this on the front end like you have been. You need to start advertising other products and services that get, well, in this case, products, other products that get better reviews and better feedback. And like, client was reluctant at first, and used a big mover. It was a product that got a lot of attention. Naturally, it's why it sold well on the front end. They did eventually do that. The campaigns, along with a bunch of other changes, but the campaigns were able to be massively improved, and the business got to the point where it's profitable. And I also think with that sort of situation as well, you've got to think about long-term brand reputation. Do you want to put a mediocre product in someone's hands? Well, they're always going to think of your brand as mediocre then and look to go elsewhere. Maybe it might be better in this case, and it was, to pay more to acquire a customer, but have them leave with a really positive interaction, because of the compounding effects that we've talked about. So like, this is quite a harsh lesson, I know, when it comes to meta ad performance. These things absolutely tie in. I said this video is going to be a little bit different, and everyone always wants the latest ad trick, ad hack, but like, this stuff can be far more impactful than the latest AI feature on the ad platform. If you want more harsh lessons that are most likely going to be really helpful for you getting better results, check out this video here. I go through a bunch of stuff that I've learned over many, many years of doing this, and can be the things, if you do them right, separate you from the pack and mean that you in 3-5 years time are miles ahead of where you would expect to be. So go ahead and check it out.